A voter in New Hampshire hopes that Donald Trump gets reelected so that his boss can get a tax cut.
McIver makes $40,000 a year, just enough, he says, to take care of his family and save a little. Another Trump tax cut for his boss, he says, would be worth all the Trump chaos.
If the business climate is better towards people like him, I do better. Because if you hit him harder with taxes, that takes away from me.
So that is Devin McIver, who is being interviewed by John King on CNN, and the man, you heard it, makes $40,000 a year busting his ass. I think that if anybody deserves a tax cut, it's that guy, not his boss. All right. So look, this guy, this is a hardworking man, right? Poor guy. He has fallen for the bullshit idea that the wealth is going to trickle down. All right. I wish that I could sit him down and explain to him over a beer just how it doesn't work like that. All right. That's it. Trickle down doesn't work. It's a trick. What happens when you cut corporate taxes? They pocket the money. How do I know this? Because that's what they've done. That's what they've always done. That's what they did during the Bush administration with the Bush tax cuts. That's what they did with the Trump tax cuts. So look, cutting corporate taxes doesn't meaningfully increase wages. It doesn't lead to buying safer equipment, the companies reinvesting. What it does is mainly go into shareholder pockets. That's it. Now, that said, if you're a small business, I'm totally fine with exemptions for, reinvesting in your business. Okay, you get a tax cut, you reinvest in your business. You hire more people, you raise wages, you get a tax cut for that. But only if you're a certain size business, all right? You're a small business. Totally fine. I believe in incentives. Yes, incentives. But that said, cutting tax rates for corporations that are incredibly wealthy do very, very little for the average worker. And you know what? That's not my opinion. It's backed up by data. In fact, look, back in 2017, Trump gave corporations a massive tax cut, as well as a tax holiday. So what is that? It means they could basically bring back all their foreign profits into the United States at a much, much lower tax rate. So that's a whole bunch of money coming back into the country that's not going to get taxed, or taxed at a very, very low rate. So now, in addition to that, again, he took the rate from 35% to 21%, which led to an explosion of what? Stock buybacks and executive bonuses totaling around $436 billion in just the second quarter of 2018. So we're talking billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in stock buybacks. Now, according to research firm TrimTabs, that amount would have paid for a $1,000 bonus check to be sent to 6.8 million workers every single trading day. So every single day that they were trading in the stock market, that money could have paid for a $1,000 bonus to 6.8 million people. Holy crap. That is a lot of money. A more recent analysis by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities noted that the rich benefited massively from the Bush and Trump tax cuts, which again didn't really translate into higher wages or increased hiring. In fact, the 2017 tax law will boost the after-tax incomes of households, the top 1%, by 2.9% in 2025, roughly 3 times the 0.9% gain for households in the bottom 60%. The tax cuts that year will average $54,220 for the top 1% and $220,310 for the top 10th of 1%. So the top 1% will save so much money in taxes. Just the top 1%. They'll save more in taxes than what Devin McIver makes in an entire year busting his ass. Is that fair? Hell no. No, it's not fair, but it gets worse. According to a study from researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, the Federal Reserve Board, and the Joint Committee on Taxation, they found that none of the earnings gains from the 2017 corporate rate cuts accrued to the bottom 90% of the income distribution, i.e. they cut taxes on corporations, and you know what? Pretty much none of it went to you. It did not trickle down. In fact, this group also received just a small fraction of the overall economic gains. So once again, it did not trickle down, and it didn't make the economy better for the bottom 90% of the income distribution. It did absolutely nothing for you. And we're just talking federal tax rates here, all right? When you look at state tax rates, this gets even worse. Look, I talked about the recent study involving states and how their tax systems are so regressive that rich people end up paying less than the bottom 20% of taxpayers. Now, if you're Devin McIver, you're getting absolutely hosed in taxes. Because it's not just, state taxes, not just federal taxes, right? But it's also sales taxes, gas taxes. All these little taxes that you don't think about that add up. No wonder right-wing messaging on taxes works, because the average person just sees taxes everywhere. Oh my God, I'm getting taxed. There's so much taxes. And it's true. And the reason that you're paying so many taxes is because the rich have found a way to shift their tax burden onto you. That's the issue here. Again, the average person being drowned in taxes. But the thing is, Republicans and their donors are the ones that are holding you underwater. They're holding your head down. They're drowning you in the bathtub that they want to drown government in. Look, and the thing is, they've managed to lie to your face, not because you're an idiot, not because you're dumb or naive. It's because they figured out how to craft a message that can manipulate people, that obscure the things that are really going on here. They have spent time, money, resources, doing studies, psychological analyses to figure out how to sell this bullshit to you. They have to do that because if they were honest about what they're really doing, most people are going to be like, are you crazy, dog? Not at all interested in this. Now, by the way, I have one more video here. This is, again, John King reacting after the interview.
How many days, Casey, have you come to work thinking, I want the government to give my boss a tax cut? Did you hear Devin McIver there? He wants his boss to get a tax cut from Trump because he thinks that means he might get a modest raise and they'll have safer equipment. They'll buy new equipment and have safer equipment on the job site. It's all transactional. They don't like Washington. They don't think it works. And they think Trump at least will do a couple things that help them, and that's enough.
Now, of course, we know that Trump is not going to do anything to help average people because during his last administration, he didn't. Okay? And he doesn't plan on it. He did do a lot of things that helped himself. But here's the thing, though. And I think this is why a lot of people don't like CNN. See, John King could not believe it because he couldn't put himself into Devin's shoes. He writes him off as an idiot. I don't think that's the case. I think he's somebody who's been victimized by a sophisticated propaganda campaign, all right, by the elites. And those elites, again, are the ones who want tax cuts for the rich because they are the rich. They are the elites. And the other thing that John King failed to do was suggest how to fight back, because he is part of the system after all. One of the ways that you can fight back against this and that you can actually get the things that you were asking for, higher pay, better working conditions, is unionize. Again, you didn't hear that on CNN. No, because they don't want you to hear it. Because understand that the real power here is the workers. The real power here, and they don't even know it, is in the hands of people like Devin. Not when it comes to their vote, right? But when it comes to whether or not they collectively bargain, whether they get together with their fellow workers and consolidate and organize in order to fight for the things that he needs. And frankly, he and every other worker deserve. Okay? And that's where the real power is. The power is not in politicians. The power is not in media. The power is in organized labor. And unfortunately, people like McIver don't really understand that. They've seen unions, they've seen labor get maligned over and over again by these same networks and other networks, Fox News and Republicans everywhere. And it's all you get is that messaging that union's bad, union's bad. But in reality, unions built the weekend, all right? Gave us the weekend, gave us a 40-hour work week. They gave us high wages, higher wages. They gave people health care. And people need to understand that the only way that you're ever going to get these concessions from your boss is not to ask nicely or to give him a tax cut so he can get another yacht. No, it's to get together with your fellow workers and to fight for it.